One, two, three. Am I on? Am I live? I think I am.
Got the green light on, that's how I can tell. Yep.
Okay, we'll get started with the Bible class hour or half hour real shortly. So which Schultzes are your kids?
Paul and Mark. I have David, Mark, Tom, Paul, and Ted.
Gotcha.
I saw Paul last week because I was in Colorado. His daughter got married last year in a very small ceremony.
Okay.
And then this year she had the big shindig.
Okay.
Notice I have my glasses on, I can read it. I just needed Kevin to scroll through the announcements a little quicker for me. Yeah.
Whoever's here is here. All right, welcome everybody. We can get started. Before today, how many people have ever heard of Christian Family Solutions? A number of you have. Okay. Our legal official name still is Wisconsin Lutheran Child and Family Service. But we thought we should shorten it a little bit because we're not only in Wisconsin anymore, we're worldwide actually. And we don't serve only Lutherans. We serve a lot of Lutherans, but of the people that we counsel, take a guess as to what percentage of the people we counsel are WELS Lutherans. 20%. The rest are something else or nothing, and we counsel a lot of people. And so this is really an outreach opportunity. This is the audience participation time of this presentation. What do you think we are counseling people for the most? Finances, yes. I'm sorry, my hearing's not so good. Chronic pain, sure. Just anxiety and depression are the two biggest ones, and substance abuse. And during COVID, a certain type of counseling shot up to the top. It was marriage. Why do you think during COVID, marriage counseling was too much time together is right. Now, when you think of getting counseling, you probably think about going to a clinic. And we have a lot of clinics. The closest one to you right here would be in Germantown, But a long time ago, many years ago, we started using technology so that people who are not within driving distance of a clinic could still get help. And I'm going to bring somebody live on the screen right now who is listening, I think. Dan, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine, Dan. I was talking, unless you weren't able to hear, I was talking about how we don't have to be within driving distance of people who need our help anymore. For a long time, when we've been using this type of technology, you young guys, I'm sure, have used this all the time already. Zoom, familiar with Zoom? I'm sure you are. Even I'm familiar with Zoom at my age. And but we've been connecting people to counseling, to their counselor, using technology like Zoom for how long now, Dan? Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us how long it's been?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm having just a little bit of trouble hearing you, but I think you're just wondering about our video-assisted counseling capabilities, and I'm glad to tell you a little bit more about that. As Pastor Mattek mentioned, my name is Dan Nomenson, and I am one of our counselors here at Christian Family Solutions. Been here for nearly 25 years, so been here a long time and love our ministry, love what we do. And in particular, and by the way, I'm coming to you live from our clinic location and our corporate office location, which is right up the road in Germantown. So not too far away from you, but thought it would be good to demonstrate the video connection here with you. But yes, we did start video-assisted counseling way back in 2009. So it's been a long time pre-COVID that, a lot of people started working with people by video during the COVID years. We welcomed all the newcomers to video during COVID, but we have been doing it for quite some time. So probably about now, I would say close to 70% of what we do in terms of our counseling service is done by video with people all over the country and the world. And we are on pace this year in the year of 2023 to provide over 90,000 sessions or 90,000 services, counseling services to people. So you can kind of, do the math there. That's just hundreds and hundreds of sessions that we hold by video, just like this, with people all over the world by video. So it's very busy time for us, but the opportunity to connect with people by video has just opened up the doors to our ministry, so that we can help people who are hurting no matter where they are, not just close to one of our clinic locations where they'd have to meet in person. So we're very happy for that opportunity.
Dan, I'm standing closer to the computer. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, that's much better. Thank you. Yep.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
By the way, if any of you have any questions along the way, don't hesitate to interrupt me, and we'll do our best to answer your questions. At the beginning, Dan, we asked for ideas as to what it is we're counseling people for the most. Anxiety and depression were mentioned, financial pressures, and also marital issues. What else are we seeing people for these days, Dan?
Yeah, those are all just top ones that are definitely on the list, especially marriage counseling. I think that one has really, it spiked during COVID, and we can probably all gather our reasons and thoughts why that might be, but it has kind of remained on the high end in terms of the kinds of things that people would like to meet with our counselors for. A lot of other areas, and we can probably spend the rest of our time here talking about the different areas of concern that people are struggling with right now. It is really an outstanding time in the field of mental health. Of course, we know why these things are happening. We're broken and sinful people, right? And we've experienced that brokenness, that fall into sin, individually within our own self and in our relationships with other people. Prior to COVID, the percentage that we always referred to in terms of the number of people in our culture who are struggling with a mental health concern, pre-COVID, that number was always 20%. And now, a lot of different numbers are coming out. We're kind of waiting for the Centers for Disease Control to come out with their kind of definitive number. But right now, a lot of different research has been pointing to the number not 20%, but 46%. So 46% of people in our culture at any time in a given year will struggle with a diagnosable mental health condition. 46%. That's 46% of the people in your congregation, 46% of the kids in the school, 46% of the people in your community in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee. That number is an outstanding number. So the mental health services in our culture right now are pretty exhausted. And therefore, it's taking, with some clinics, you could have a 3 or more month wait to get in with a counselor. So the issues that you described, yep, those are depression, anxiety, financial stress, marital difficulties. We can add substance abuse, behavioral addictions. We can look at trauma in so many different ways in terms of what people are coming to us with. There is a particular age group that I think we have a lot of requests, not just children, but in particular teens. Teens is an area that we continue to get a lot of referrals for. And again, we can probably all guess what a number of those reasons are or what contributed to that. But in particular, with teens and across our culture, we see a pandemic of loneliness and an inability to establish relationships with other people, and a support network of friends, family, acquaintances, coworkers that is extremely limited or non-existent. And when we're not in connection with other people to receive support, and when in particular we're not in connection and in relationship with those who can provide Christian support and bear with, forgive, support, encourage, when we're not in connection with people that can help us in those ways, we see symptoms of mental distress. So again, it's not unusual that we're seeing this, but we are definitely seeing a pandemic of loneliness and a kind of a relationship desert right now. And this is a challenging time, but also a most amazing time for opportunities to reach people with the gospel. I think our congregations, our schools, our ministry, we have a lot of hurting people out there that simply want relationship with others. And I think many of us are in the position to do that for and with people, not only within our congregation, within our school, but also with our community, because they're looking for hope, they're looking for reasons why, they're just looking for someone to talk to so that they don't feel alone. So again, in particular, teens, I think, are really pressed down in that area. And we, Christian Family Solutions, have answered that call, and we are working with a number of wonderful donors to our ministry who have helped us and continue to help us provide services to our teens. We have established an endowment, and the funds from that endowment will go and are going to help any of our teens at any of our area Lutheran high schools and provide at least 3 sessions at no cost. So right down the road at Wisco, we have a counselor on site there, and any of those students there at Wisco, 3 sessions are available at no cost, thanks to donors who support our ministry. All of our area Lutheran high schools and prep schools around the country can receive that same thing. So up the road at Kettle, down at Lakeside and Shoreland, you name it, those sessions are available to help our teens. It's very important to get early intervention with children and teens. This is kind of that imprinting time, right? The way kids and teens deal with difficulties in life sort of sets them on the road, and that's the way they tend to deal with things as an adult as well. So that early intervention is extremely important. So if you would like information on how to support our ministry in our work, not only with adults and families and marriage, but in particular with children and teens, let Pastor Mattek know, and we'd love to talk to you more.
Okay. By the way, are there any any questions for Dan or for me as we move along in the presentation? Anybody? Yes.
You said a lot of your clients are not necessarily Lutheran. Is your counseling Christ-based, or does that depend upon the person?
Yes and yes. Our counseling, Dan, the question, I'll get closer to the computer here so you can hear me better. The question is our counseling Christ-centered? And I mentioned before that quite a few of the people are not Wells Lutheran who come to us for help, but it is Christ-centered. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that for a moment.
Yeah, well, that's the reason why we exist. So we are here to provide the healing and helping ministry of Jesus Christ to a people of a sinful and troubled world. So there are a lot of clinics out there that don't provide Christian-based services, and that's great. I'm sure they are providing wonderful secular counseling services and ideas and tips and tools and techniques for people to find relief from symptoms and challenges that they have. We know that people come to us because we are Christian Family Solutions, and we want to make sure that that is incorporated into their healing, into their therapy or their counseling service, because there's a different perspective when there are challenges in life, and it is something that we can help people be reminded of. Coming to counseling isn't just to reduce symptoms. Sometimes those symptoms may remain for a long time, but we can help people through an understanding of Scripture understand the purpose and reason for challenges in life and what those direct us to. So all of our counselors are Christian counselors. That's why they've joined us. That's why they're here. We do a lot of training in what's called integration or convergence between psychology and theology or Christianity. All of our services are provided with a Christian worldview. There are many clinics that are very much opposed to any kind of integration with Christianity. They feel that it is oppressive, or it is we're proselytizing, or we are pushing our faith and beliefs on other people. We certainly don't want to do that. In our first session with all of our clients, we cover what's called informed consent, so that people can understand where we come from and make sure it is a match with what they're looking for, and they can make an informed decision to continue and start counseling with us. So we always provide our clients information on that. But there are many in the counseling field now, particularly in our institutions of higher learning, that are training new counselors who are very much opposed to anything of a Christian nature in the field. And that's unfortunate, but we are not ashamed of the gospel, and we're not ashamed of the services that we provide, and we want to continue to provide those because people are looking for them.
That's a great question. It really goes to the heart of what it is we do. Does God's Word have anything to say about peace? Anything to say about love? Anything to say about relationships? Anything to say about self-control? Anything to say about hope? Eternity? I mean, the Bible has everything to say. It is the answer to all of those topics. And so to leave that out of the counseling process, I don't know how effective a counselor can be who leaves that out of the counseling process. We're under some pressure from certain organizations not to do that, not to include that in the counseling process, but we're standing our ground. Any other questions? Yes.
There seems to be an pandemic of homelessness, especially as related to people with mental health issues. Are you able to have any relationship to that or any impact on that?
Dan, I'll repeat the question. The topic has to do with there seems to be a lot of homelessness connected with mental illness. Do we have any opportunity to have any impact on that whatsoever? How would you answer that question?
Yeah, very much. A lot of research has been done on homeless populations or those struggling in that area, and mental illness is very high in terms of the percentage. And that could be a cause, it could be a result. Regardless, there are challenges there. We actually here in the Milwaukee area, our CEO, who is Mark Klug, actually is on the board of directors at the Milwaukee Rescue Mission here in Milwaukee, and very involved in helping them to provide Christian-based services, and also helping them understand and look at ways to address the mental health of those who are coming in, and they're very much open to working with us or helping us just consult and help them and understand more opportunities that they could utilize to help people with their mental health challenges. So yeah, it's very much a problem in that area. That's really good comment and question there.
Anybody else? Dan, could you maybe talk just a little bit about the impact that COVID has had on people and mental health needs for people as a result of the lockdowns and school closings and so forth?
Yeah, I think I alluded to that a little bit before, and I think that we're in this post-COVID mental health, I guess I'll say catastrophe almost in our culture right now. And during COVID, we just saw skyrocketing levels of concern for mental illness, and it's all the symptoms and challenges that you mentioned before, symptoms of anxiety and depression and marital discord, relationships. Well, during the COVID time, we went into this period of almost isolation, like we just couldn't connect with people, and especially for kids and teens, that ability to, when you take several years even out of their developmental time, when they're forming and developing relationships with other people, that just has created kind of an indelible mark on certain age groups. And for all of us, right? Because we were all sort of tied down for a time in different ways and isolated. And it's interesting because you see that a lot of teens and a lot of people turn to various elements of social media to kind of take over and take place. It didn't always work too well. And what we found is that it just is not a perfect replacement for close relationships with people. And what we're finding now are people just coming to us because they lack simple relationships with another human being. And they're coming to us and using their insurance to have a relationship with somebody. And it's so again, it is just it's a very challenging time in our culture But like I said before, just great opportunities, right? There are just great opportunities to develop a relationship with the person checking you out at Culver's or at the grocery store, and to make conversation, and to invite to church, and to invite to follow up on conversations. There's just a lot of opportunity, and people are, it's unusual. It's unusual to be complimented. It's unusual to have someone act kindly. It's unusual. It's all part of relationship that is lacking right now, some of that understanding. So those are impacts of COVID. Of course, there's many other impacts, I think, that a lot of people have a lot of comment on, but I think that aspect of relationship is one that it's what we see in our clinic, and it's what we see as great opportunity too.
Dan, could you possibly turn to our website and maybe introduce these good folks here at Atonement to a couple of our counselors?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take you to our website here again. It's ChristianFamilySolutions.org. And again, like Pastor Mattek mentioned, our legal name is still Wisconsin Lutheran Child and Family Service. We do business as Christian Family Solutions, and that's what our website address is. So here on our website, just as a quick little overview, over here on the right-hand panel under how can we help you, here's where people can request an appointment. Just enter your information here, and one of our fine intake people will contact you and let you know the next available counselor when they're free. We can provide services again in person in one of our clinic locations or by video. The closest clinic to Atonement would be up the road in Germantown, but we also have a clinic on site at St. Marcus Lutheran Church, and we are also opening up another clinic on site at Living Word Lutheran in Waukesha. And we also have another clinic down the road at St. Paul's in Muskego. So you can probably see that our efforts are not to open up a professional office building or clinic with a podiatrist and a financial planner on one side and pay lease. We are partnering with congregations and opening up clinics within the congregation, partnering with pastor and others within the congregation to provide these services, not only to their members, but to the community as well. So that's our effort. So we have a lot of clinics, and all those locations are listed under Find a Clinic location right up here on the very top. Here is a list of all of our counselors. It's under Connect with Your Provider. And here is a list of just a whole bunch of good people. A lot of people all over the country. We have people who work for us by video only, and people who work in person at our clinics, and people who do both. But they're really literally scattered throughout the country. One of the programs that we provide is called our Member Assistance Program, and you'll find information about that under the Mental Health Ministry category. It's right here, our Member Assistance Program. Atonement is part of that. And what that program is we partner with congregations around the country. We, Christian Family Solutions, cover half the cost. The congregation covers half the cost, and member receives the service at no cost. It requires referral from pastor, and it is short-term, but it is an opportunity for people to get that initial good assessment, some short-term counseling services, and information on what they may want to look into if there is a longer-term need that needs to be addressed. But a lot of our counselors work in our Member Assistance Program, and they're located all over the country. We have, for instance, Tanya Murray, who is in Pennsylvania, and we have people like Emily Head down in New Mexico, and John Semro in Texas, and so just people scattered throughout the country. As I look through the list here, here's Amanda Cadwell. She lives in South Carolina. So just people all over. But we can find our Great Wells counselors no matter where they are, and they can work by video, just like we're doing right now. I could certainly go through just and highlight a few counselors, but I can, like for instance, here's Cheryl Cowling. She works by video only. She lives up here in the Milwaukee area, but she used to work in our Germantown office, and now she works entirely by video. She's a traumatologist, so she focuses on working with people who've been impacted by some type of crisis or trauma in their life. That could be abuse, sexual or physical. It could be a result of a car accident, a natural disaster, fire, flood, hurricane, whatever that might be. That's her area of expertise. And you can kind of go down the list and look at a number of people and find their areas of expertise. Not every one person will specialize in all that is broken in our lives, but collectively we cover just about every area of concern that there is. So, yeah.
Angie Ertl there is our former pastor's wife.
Yes, right, she is. Yep, she still works for us. They're up in Baraboo, and as you know, and Angie works for us by video. She's excellent, and she's actually one of our supervisors, so she supervises interns and in-training counselors, does just excellent work with a lot of different areas of concern. So if you click on any one individual counselor, you can see their area of treatment focus and brief bio. But yep, she's one of our beloved counselors, absolutely.
Any other questions that anybody might have? Dan, you want to introduce us to maybe one more, or?
What's that? I'm sorry?
I need to get closer to my computer. Is there anybody else you would like to introduce us to, or is that about it?
Oh, yeah, I could. I don't want to take up your time just going through the list here, but feel free. Go to ChristianFamilySolutions.org. You can look at our different counselors, or you can look at the counselors by location. You can click on a specific location and see the counselors that work there in that office. There are also a lot of other resources on our website if you're interested. We do a lot of educational programs. There are some videos and webinars that are posted on our website. There's a whole lot of articles and blogs that are up there, and all that information is for you to just take a look at, to copy, paste, put in newsletters, whatever you however you would like to use it, that's absolutely just fine. But a lot of information here on our website. And of course, those who are interested in supporting our ministry, there is a little tab here that says Give, and you can give right through our website. We do have our annual golf outing tomorrow, actually, that is happening up at Shaniqua Golf Course, and we're looking forward to getting together with a lot of good people. Hopefully the weather is appropriate, but we do welcome the rain as well. We're still a little bit dry.
Any other questions for Dan before we let him go? How about if we give him a round of applause, okay?
Well, certainly not necessary for a round of applause, but I do thank you for sticking around here after church and just learning more about our ministry, learning more about Christian Family Solutions. We love your support. We love your help for our ministry. We are looking for more partners for that. Thank you for being a great host to Pastor Mattek. And Pastor Mattek, thanks for driving down and leading the service and talking about our ministry today. Good working with you.
Take care, Dan. We'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, bye-bye.
He was in the office this morning around 5 o'clock. Very dedicated person. Does anybody have any final questions for me? Otherwise, I think you've gotten a taste of what our ministry is about and how we can help people. Our website is also on the handout. Website address is on the handout that you received this morning. And question? Yes?
Do you have any formal program or something that puts it all together in terms of helping the people who are lonely and making contacts and that kind of thing? I could just see that I do see it as a tremendous problem, but it ought to be easier to solve, especially within a congregation. But I think you need a structure or something to get people going.
Yes, we have helped some congregations start their own support group that way. So that might be one way of going about it. We don't have the personnel to be able to do it all the time everywhere, obviously. But some of those groups also bring a counselor in, like we brought Dan in order to occasionally address certain things that the group has questions about. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
This may be what he just asked, but I'm wondering, like, if with the topic of loneliness, if, like, you have a way to, like, connect people to other people who are struggling with loneliness and trying to get people to meet people and maybe make friends or
I think it is a similar question that was just asked, but I think it's a very important question. I personally think that the local congregation probably is best positioned to be able to provide that, and it could be maybe 3 or 4 congregations in a similar area, and the teenagers, for example, can get together and talk about issues maybe with the help of a pastor or a teacher or a staff minister. Thanks for asking. Anybody else? Well, thank you so much for your time, and hopefully you've learned a little bit about Christian Family Solutions. It's been a privilege to be with you this morning. Thank you.